and the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. So be it, Jedi.
Welcome to the GNN Cantina Happy Hour, where I had the right video queued up this week.
Thank God.
That's what I was checking. I was like, do I have the right video? And then it started on me anyway. I was like, all right, well, we'll just, whatever it is, we'll go with it.
One day we're just going to end up with like the Futurama intro.
Yeah. Doom, 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 doom. No, they're rebooting and not rebooting. They're bringing that back again.
Oh, yeah. Well,
on
I
Hulu,
guess after the way
On
they
Hulu.
ended it, you know,
Yeah.
want to go back and try again?
No, the first original, 5 seasons on Fox? Was it 4 or 5 seasons on Fox? Those were the only, in my opinion, those were the only good ones. The one that ended with the robot devil's hands are an idle play thing. So I just when they started doing the Bender's Big Score and the Beast with Two Backs and all the movies, and then all of a sudden they brought the episodes back, I was like, you lost me. You lost me. I'm done. Not so much. Anyway, we are here to talk about Star Wars, and I'm on a rant already about Futurama, but that's okay. I am your host, David. It's good to see you here. With me, as always, is my co-host, Debbie. How are you, Debbie?
I'm good. Good. It's smoky here in Indiana. We're getting all that smoke and bad air quality from Canada. I guess.
Those rotten Canadians.
It's been hazy all week. It looks like a constant fog here all day, every day for the last week. It's fun.
Terrible. You know how they came up with the spelling of Canada, right? They were just drawing letters out of a hat. CANADA. There it is. Dad joke of the week.
Yeah, boy.
That's a good one.
That's
I've never
awesome.
heard that before.
That's anytime I meet a Canadian, that's my go-to joke right there. Anyway, also with us tonight is Cam from Cam and Focus. How are you, Cam?
I'm doing okay. It's been a busy week. It's been a busy last freaking 6 months, man. I'm over it.
I'm ready to just settle down and get into a normal rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a normal rhythm. That would be nice. I'm living like the worst kind of polyrhythm right now.
You should get some Legos. That's when my life is completely going out of whack. That's what I do. Is I grab one of my many Lego sets, or I'll go buy one and sit down and watch the Star Wars movie and build my Legos, and it's just like bliss. And especially if you don't have any kids, in the room, or they're all off with mom doing something else, it's like, oh, heavenly.
And you know, I never got into Legos, but I love those models that you get, and it's all those tiny little pieces in those plastic grids, and you have to pop them out and build the thing from the inside out.
Yeah.
And I had one of Kylo Ren, and that thing took me like 8 hours to assemble. It was a fantastic model, and of course, during one of my moves, it freaking broke irreparably. So,
I bet I could have fixed it. I bet I could have fixed it. I can fix anything.
The Lego Master.
That's right. So, kiddos, tonight we are talking about Mandalorian Season 1. We're going through the Mandalorian. If you weren't with us last week, we've still got a few weeks until Ahsoka comes out. We've got all of July and then like most of August. I think it's the 21st or 23rd, somewhere in there.
23rd, I think.
Yeah, it's the latter part of August.
So we got a few weeks. Our show started after Mandalorian season 1 and 2, so we're going to go through the episodes of The Mandalorian, as if we've never seen them before. And we're going to go through and talk about what we liked and didn't like and all the greatness that is the Filoni and Favreau universe. So, episode 2 kicks off. Mando did not ride, or I didn't see him ride one of those lizard things back. It looked like they walked back because they got attacked. They got accosted. I'll say that they got accosted by more bounty hunters that were tracking the child. We'll just call him the child since we don't know his name yet. Not till episode. Not till
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. That's right. The clever little what did I call it? Marketing gimmick. Go out and buy Baby Yoda toys. There you go.
We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored.
We're not. If you want to sponsor us, I'll plug your toys all day long. Go for it. So anyway, they get accosted. These were were they Trandoshians? Is that was I thinking about that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet. But this also leads up to, and this is kind of a running theme through the rest of this season, is there's always somebody out to get him. There's always the next bounty hunter they're dodging. I think they'll get chased in space at one point, and then this happens, and it's higgledy-piggledy. But I'm curious, though, why does that stop after season 1? I don't think it carried over into season 2, did it?
Not very much. I mean, that they still had people after them, if I remember correctly, but it was just a different group of people. In season 1, it was just kind of a little ragtag here and there.
Okay.
But I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't watched season 2 honestly since it premiered. So.
Ooh. Season 2 was a good one. So back to episode 2, though. We get back to the ship, and the ship, apparently they parked the ship in the wrong side of town because the ship was stripped. And this was when I first saw this episode, when he pulled out that rifle and started blasting those Jawas from a distance. And I mean, they didn't just fall over and die. I mean, they like disintegrate. I was like, oh my gosh, awesome. Keep doing that.
My childhood dreams have been realized. Jawa murder.
Jawa slaughter. Yeah. I mean, even in A New Hope, when the stormtroopers killed the Jawas, there were still bodies, but he didn't even leave marks. He's just like... It's like
creatures.
It's like he Thanos snapped him out of there. They just was the dust floating away. So we get this. This one, it also. This was something else I really enjoyed about this episode, was that he tried to chase them down. He got up on their sandcrawler, and they pulled some Monty Python stuff where they were just chucking things at him. And if you get that reference, great, we can be friends. So anyway, so they're just checking things at him, and he eventually falls off. He loses it. But I like this because that shows, through a whole lot of Star Wars existence. Well, ever since Boba Fett, really, Boba Fett was always like he was like the badass. You don't mess with him because everything goes his way. Everything is right where he needs it to be. And with the Mandalorian, I think a lot of people were expecting, he's a bounty hunter and he walked into the bar. I'll take you cold or I'll take you warm, however you want to do it. And you're just like, okay, we don't want to mess with this guy. And he's just the best of the best. And he's got these cool weapons that can disintegrate people. but then he gets thrown off the sandcrawler. And I think to me that was looking at it like, yeah, he's good, but when he's not immortal, and he's not Superman, basically. He's not going to be I've got every power imaginable and I cannot be stopped by anybody. So I thought
he's not a perfect bounty hunter either.
Right, right. And especially in these. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say a protagonist is always more endearing when you see that they're not infallible.
Right, and
this flaws, yeah.
This one, like I said, really showed it, because it was he got beat by Jawas, for crying out loud. Now, granted, there was a whole lot of them and one of him, but still, I mean, we got beat by Jawas.
Well, and I don't know if I thought this the first time I watched these episodes the first time around, but watching it this time, I don't know why, but it made me cackle a couple of times. The first time was the disintegrations, because it just kind of threw me back to Vader telling Boba,
no disintegrations.
And then when he's hanging on to that crawler, the Jawa crawler, and he's hanging off the side, and then he looks over and he sees this rock coming, rock wall coming towards him. Flashback to Indiana Jones.
I was gonna say, I think I know where you're going with this. It's the last crusade.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I thought of that the first time I watched this, but it just made me cackle.
You know what? Honestly, I thought of it this time, but again, I don't know if I thought of it the first time either.
Right.
Just because I was like, and that's only because, the new Indiana Jones movie starts this weekend, and so like 2 or 3 weeks ago, before it started, I watched all of the Indiana Jones movies up to and including that craptastic Crystal Skull one, but yeah, so it was like fresh on my mind about the whole thing with Indy hanging on the tank and everything, and they're running up against the wall. So I thought it was good.
Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to go see Indiana.
Well, we actually got free tickets if you go. Yeah, if you go to Applebee's and eat their food. They've got a thing where you take your receipt and you go scan it in, and Fandango sends you a voucher. So I have got 2 $15 vouchers to go see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Nice. Wow.
So I'm like, whoo, free movie. And then Luke ran away. He ran away for the weekend to go stay with his cousin. And I'm like, I wanted to go see Indiana Jones this weekend. So now I'm thinking.
Now you can go see it twice.
Well, Luke, if you're watching, I'm going to go see it without you. I will. So he's not huge on Indiana Jones, but I mean, that's one of our things. So, but.
Well, that's just blasphemy. Sorry, y'all know I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan. So
what? I've never heard you say anything about that.
Harrison who?
Who? What? I mean, where does all of this come from?
Oh, you must mean that guy from Ferris Bueller.
You need to redo that.
Is it that guy, Harrison Ford, the guy from Clear and Present Danger and Regarding Henry?
Oh, Regarding Henry, I love that movie.
or better, the guy from Patriot Games and Sabrina?
Yeah.
Oh, you must mean that one movie, The Fugitive. Oh, that's yeah.
That's my favorite.
Indiana Jones is not your favorite?
It's my favorite non-Indiana Jones movie.
Harrison Ford was also in a movie called Hollywood Homicide with Josh Hartnett.
Oh Lord, he was in that?
Yes.
Yep,
They
that
were
was
partners.
Yeah. Oh
that-
God,
yeah,
that's been a long time ago.
It was Harrison Ford's buddy cop movie. It came out in the early 2000s, and by God, it's definitely an early 2000s movie.
Wow.
But there's a big chase scene near the end, and Harrison Ford is having a chase after these people who are driving away in a car, and he goes to hijack some dude's car, and the dude pulls a gun on him. So he turns around and he sees this little girl on a tiny little bicycle, and he grabs the bike, and she's like, "Hey, that's my bike!" And Harrison Ford just gets in her face and goes, "Ah!" and just takes the bike and rides off with it. That's the one thing I really remember about
Wow.
that movie.
He was also in Apocalypse Now, by the way. If you never saw Apocalypse Now with
And 10 Force from Navarone.
and American Graffiti.
That's where I fell in love with him.
He also had a small role in Age of Adeline. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but it has Blake Lively in it. It's a good movie.
And was it Mosquito Coast? Was that the name of that one?
I didn't like that one because he was an asshole.
Yes, he was. So anyway, okay, back to the Mandalorian.
Mando.
Back to Mando. We've chased the Harrison tangent. So we're gonna go back to Mando. He goes back to the Ugnaught, and he's like, "Well, we'll go get your stuff back. Let's go get your stuff back." And of course, he shows up, and I think this kind of not added to his character, but I think you saw it come out a little bit more in future episodes, to where he was like, he wanted to go in there, guns blazing. I'm going to steal my stuff back, and the guy's like, just wait, let's talk to him and see if we can get it back a normal way and be nice about it, and blah 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 blah. And I mean, obviously it worked because he got all the stuff for his ship back, and that's fine. But that same thing happens in season 2, in the first episode of season 2, the Marshal, where where Cobb Vanth goes up against the Sand People. All these Sand People are, we're gonna go in there, guns blazing. It's like, wait, whoa, slow down. So I think this is like kind of where he starts off as this. Well, you're smaller than me, and you stole my stuff, so I'm gonna start blowing you away. But it turns out that this is like this is the rabbit on the side of the road that can help you. So that you pull the splinter out of his paw, and then he comes back and chews through the ropes or whatever, Aesop's fable. Anyway, so I think that's kind of where he learned this, and that's the only thing I can think of, because every time he was Stephanie's online. What lies beneath? Oh, that was a good one too.
When I first seen that, I hated it because, again, he was the bad guy, but I've watched it several times now, and it's really good. But I really hated it the first time I seen it, because I was like, you're not supposed to be the bad guy.
There was also a movie that came out in the early 2000s called Gothica with Halle Berry that was pretty much the same story as What Lies Beneath, but it was Halle Berry. Anyway, my tangent again. So we to me, that just shows that he can learn from his mistakes. He will obviously make the mistake, and I mean, he does the same thing with droids. No droids, and then IG-11 does his thing at the end of the thing, and all of a sudden it's like, maybe droids aren't so bad. So this is what we call character growth. So it's nice to see that from him. The Jawas want his Beskar initially, and he was like, and then they want the kid. They want the child. He's like, no, think again.
What are they going to do with him? Just
and
because
then,
he's little, maybe they'd adopt him or something. I don't know.
They
see
would
Grogu
eat him.
running. Oh yeah. But then they want him to go get this egg, which
the Cadbury egg, because that's what it looks like when they open it.
it's Cadbury cream egg, but I guess it's like a delicacy for them. And so he's got to go fight this this Mudhorn, and it doesn't go well for him. Again, this is one of those.
Throttles him.
This is
Yeah,
one
he
of
gets his
those.
ass kicked.
This is one of those. What do you call it? We're showing that we're not super duper.
The vulnerable hero.
The vulnerable hero. That's right. We can be beaten. But then we see Grogu, Baby Yoda, do his little
The magic hand thingy.
yeah, the hand thing, and he lifts the thing up, and we're triumphant, and we can steal the egg. But this is also too when he uses his force powers, it takes a lot out of him because he's it's like, okay, I've used it, and now I've got to take a nap. I'm done.
Passes out. Wipes them out.
I think that he does that all the way through at least maybe the first and second season, to where it really just. Well, but in Book of Boba Fett, now here's the thing, because he doesn't do it in the third season. In the third season, he uses the Force and he's just fine. But we've also got to remember that in Book of Boba Fett, he went off to train with Luke, and according to the timeline that Filoni put out, he was with Luke for like 2 or 3 years, if I remember right. So
2 years.
He's learned to control this. He's learned how to, okay, I can use the Force without having to take a nap afterwards. He's become more comfortable with it.
But he's a baby.
And he's just a little baby.
He's just a little baby. He needs a nap.
So
you know what? Whenever I look back on the Mandalorian's fight with the Mudhorn, the moment that always sticks out to me, and to see something I love about the whole vulnerable hero thing is I love the moments whenever a hero accepts that they're going to lose. And whenever the Mudhorn's charging at him that final time and he just gets on his knees, puts his head down and holds out his knife, thinking, okay, this is it, this is how I die. I was like, fuck. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Cam uses naughty words. Whoa, whoa! You got a mouth on you.
This is a really this is a great moment. I don't know what it is about the character accepting death. I don't know what it is about things like that it just really resonates with me.
PG-13, Cam. So that's your one time.
Okay.
Don't jump into our territory. You had your one. Go for it.
Usually I'm the one that's talking like a sailor. What the hell?
I'm telling you.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. But and honestly, I'm the way you said that, to where he's just ready to accept death, while you're talking about that, I'm sitting here thinking there's another Indiana Jones reference. When they're on the ship in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and she says, "You're not the man I met 20 years ago," and he said, It's not the
miles. It's not the years. It's the
mileage. It's not the years. It's the mileage. And then of course he's looking at himself in the mirror and he's just like, oh, and he's all hurt and he's looking at all of his scars, and she flips the mirror and whacks him again. And it's just like,
and then he passes out.
So look at this. We're getting into all kinds of Indiana Jones references. The movie starts this weekend. I'm excited. Obviously we're excited.
I love it.
So anyway, but they get the egg, they get their ship back together, and they take off. And it's a happy, again, not a very long episode, this one. I don't even.
I think it was like 37 or 38 minutes.
I was gonna say it's just under 45. It's a little short episode, but it's to me, I like it because it's Filoni and Favreau telling the story that they want to tell without adding a whole bunch of filler stuff to it. So, and it's just, and they tell it in the time they need to tell it in. They're like, screw convention. We don't need to make this an hour-long show. We made a 35-minute show, and now we're going to have to add, 25 minutes of filler? No. Well, what they should have done was say, okay, well, fine. If you want it that way, we're going to make hour-long episodes, but we're only going to make 4 of them instead of 8. Then we'll see what you say.
Well, I mean, to be fair, most of these seasons are basically 4-hour-long movies anyway. So,
Yeah,
I mean, if they can tailor the writing to accommodate that kind of pacing or that kind of episodic pacing, then I think it would work. But then, of course, there's going to be the detractors who are like, yeah, not my Star Wars, and it's
Cam, didn't you do a video on that once?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I was going to say, I think I just watched it again the other day.
Yeah. And that's the thing with, these large franchises that have such devoted fan bases. I mean, it's great to love something, and in my opinion, it's a lot easier to love something than it is to hate it. It's just a waste of energy, honestly.
And honestly, as far as the Star Wars fandom goes, I honestly look at it and say it's a lot like, I've got friends that are football fans, and they sit there and oh, you're such a nerd. You weren't Star Wars. Nah. And I'm like, okay. And then you go over to their house. Oh, we're going to watch the football game. Okay, go for it. And then he screams at the TV, you've only got 1 yard to go. Why are you punting? Run it. And I'm like, okay, they can't hear you, right? And you're not the coach of the team, so you can't make the call, right? You're not running this thing, right? You got that, right? And so I'm looking at Star Wars fans going, hey, you're not the coach of this. You're not running it. Just let them do what they're doing. If it pans out.
I'm very guilty of doing that. I hardly watch sports anymore, but back when I did, especially IU basketball.
The armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah. I always made sure I was doing laundry when I was watching IU basketball, because I could always throw socks at the TV without busting the TV. So yeah,
Debbie, did they have TVs back then?
Shut up, Cam.
Well, that's the beauty of it, Kim. That's why she could throw socks at them. I mean, today's TVs, if you threw a pair of socks at today's TVs, it would just tip over on its stand and it would bust the TV. But see, our TVs were like 4 feet wide and 2 feet deep. And
I had a RCA tube TV.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think it was a 35-inch. I don't remember. It was big.
That was when we got married was when I bought my first floor rear projection TV. I mean, like a big rear project. Up until then, I had a big console TV with the little push buttons on it for the channels and everything. Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
We are showing our age, definitely.
Yep. Back in my day, plasma TVs were all the rage.
Boy.
I remember when we'd get a little pixelation going in the top right corner and we didn't know what to do about it. We just ignored it. You kids got all your fancy fix-its now. You got all your nanobots fixing things. Go fix the TV. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you're gonna be old. You're gonna be old one of these days, Cam. Don't worry.
Oh no, I know. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, I'm sure that there's gonna be some, world-changing scientific discovery probably in the next, 20, 30 years, and I'm just gonna look back on it and be like, oh, back in my day, we didn't have all these fancy dancy conveniences y'all have today.
I was actually thinking about that today because I was looking at it going, it wasn't too awful long ago that nobody had devices in their pockets that could tell them where to go. I'm looking for a certain place, a certain address, and I can just punch that address in on my phone and I can go there.
Yeah, we had to
And
use maps.
we had to use maps, and so for our anniversary one year, my wife and I drove to Key West, and we had a Garmin navigator, because again, we had flip phones. We didn't have iPhones, but that's a whole different story. Honey, if you're watching, that was a lot of fun. Key West is a lot of fun. So anyway, so we take off. We're ready for episode 3. Did we miss anything, Debbie? Have we thoroughly chased many rabbits that we didn't need to?
No, I really loved this episode because in the first episode, Mando saves Grogu or Baby Yoda, whatever. And then in this episode,
Baby Yoda saves him.
Yeah. And it's funny because, you know, he got injured by the other bounty hunters, and twice Baby Yoda tried to go up to him and, you know, force heal him. And of course, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. You know, just put him back in the carriage like you do annoying little toddlers, you know, get away, put you back in your playpen or whatever. And then he finally closes it the second time around. But I thought that was cute because they haven't been together that long, and yet Grogu has this instinct, you know.
Well, I'm wondering too if some of it had to do with the fact that Grogu knew IG-11 was about to kill him. He was about to blast him, and Mando saved his life, and he realizes that. He knows that. So it's almost like he's indebted to him. I know that's a Wookiee thing, and I don't even know if that Wookiee thing's canon anymore, but
nope, now we have the Gungan life debts.
And he might also just sense that even though this guy is a bounty hunter, that he senses good in him.
He feels the conflict within him. He needs to let go of his hate. I thought it was real interesting too, though, Mando, and this goes back to the Sandcrawler chase. Mando got zapped by the ion blaster, and it shorted out all of his.
Just like R2-D2.
It's hilarious. Ha! Your fancy armor didn't do anything for you, did it?
Oh, that was hilarious. Did you guys happen to see, and I really didn't notice it was out, but they had the gallery for season 3. Did you guys watch that yet? Or
I have not.
No, I
watched
hadn't
it at all.
It's about an hour long. It's really interesting.
It's been on my list of things. I've been on a pirate kick. So I've been going through the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I don't know why I'm on a pirate kick, but if somebody out there wants to buy me a boat so I can be a pirate, I'd be okay with that.
Well, one thing I thought was interesting that was said in this gallery was Filoni was talking about Favreau bringing Baby Yoda in. And he was like, why? Why would you want to do that? And
that's a compliment, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I wear that mantle proudly.
Yes,
I'm
guilty as
happy.
charged. But yeah, it was funny. I just thought it was funny because, you know, Filoni thought that. It was like, why would you want to bring another Yoda species in? And you know, it turns out to be probably the best thing ever.
Well, and that was that was
aside
something
from the marketing, you know, merchandising, but brilliant. Just brilliant.
That was also too something else, because in the first episode, it's not till the very end we see him. They open the pod up, and there's Baby Yoda sitting there, and everybody was just like, "Oh, it's another Yoda! Oh, how did he get out? Oh!" And they're like, "Oh, it's another Yoda species. We're gonna find out what Yoda is." Right? Still haven't done that, by the way.
I don't think we ever will, because that was George does not want.
No, it needs to stay mysterious.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a mysterious thing. So,
but anyway,
somebody breaks that code.
Yeah, but then we get into this episode, and he lifts the mud horn up, and he's doing the magic hand thing, and everybody's like, "Oh, he can use the Force too! He is another Yoda!" So everybody's all excited about that. Let's see, Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. I watched the gallery last night, and as someone who loves behind the scenes shows, I felt no magic, no feeling, no nothing. I think it is because of my distaste for season 3.
Did you really hate it, or just didn't like it? I mean, because some people say they hated it, and then some people's like, it was okay. You know, it wasn't season 2.
I liked it. It had pirates in it. I liked it.
Just
I'm
not
on
the
a pirate
right
kick right now, so yeah.
We didn't have the right pirate. We needed Hondo.
Yeah. They need to, honestly,
I keep holding out hope that we'll see Hondo like in Ahsoka.
That's what I'm thinking too. As big as that character is, and as well liked by the fan base that character is, I mean, they've even incorporated him into Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. And I know there's a Spire. There's a name for that. Black Spire.
Black Spire.
Yeah. So they've incorporated him into that, and everybody, oh, look at Hondo, woohoo! And that's great. You know, hey, bring Hondo in.
So did you really like Andor?
I felt that it was super pedestrian. I knew it was going to be hard going back to the regular Star Wars after Andor.
Because people were like really divided on Andor.
Oh yeah, that was either you loved it or you hated it.
Well, I mean, I didn't necessarily love it or hate it. I thought it was very well directed, gorgeously shot. I wish that they focused more on Andor himself. And it felt a little. I mean, even with him in the end saying, "Hey, I want to join your cause" or whatever. Well, he didn't say that, but I mean,
you get
it was there.
Yeah.
I mean, even with that in the end, the show as a whole felt kind of inconsequential. There's not a lot that happened that really impacted the overall story. I mean, not that, you know, I'm expecting some kind of world-ending event or something like that, but I don't know. I guess I'm one of those who I like whenever a story has connective tissue to another story, but I also like whenever it doesn't. I like whenever it's its own thing as well. And I feel like the show didn't quite find that balance as far as feeling connected with the rest of it.
I saw that too. We're not laughing at you, Cam. Because I can understand why some people didn't consider it Star Wars, because there's no cute aliens with daddy issues. Ha!
I liked it, Andor. I really thought it was good. It was a departure from
it was that
kind
was
of a departure from Star Wars, because no Jedi, no connections.
It was normal people.
Yeah, it was on its own. I mean, there's a connection to Rogue One, but other than that, I thought it was really good, really well written, because it was written by Gilroy. Am I right on that, Gilroy?
Think so.
Tony Gilroy.
Yeah, who wrote Rogue One. So, yeah, and for a first season, I thought it was really good. Now, we'll have to see what the second season brings, but
see, that second season may be what you're looking for there, Cam, as far as the consequences, the inconsequential. I mean, it may roll into the second season. You're like, oh my gosh, now the first season's even better because this all makes sense now.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that,
It'll
I'm sure.
We have
I'm sure that
hopes.
is going to happen. But part of me just kind of wishes that I didn't have to rely on a second season to make that happen. I don't know. I liked Andor. I didn't think it was fantastic or anything, but I feel the same about Andor that I felt about Rogue One. I wasn't a big fan of the story, wasn't a big fan of the characters, but I loved how it was shot.
Oh, you
So
didn't
it's
like
that
the.
one person. That
I'm
one
telling
person.
you remind me of Dave Gramillion. Dave, we know you're watching. Rogue One's awesome.
I loved Rogue One. I thought it was great.
I think Rogue One's the best of the Disney movies, the best of the Disney era movies.
and honestly, there are things about Rogue One that I truly love. I just wasn't big on the characters and how they fit into the story and how the story was told. I mean, it's a gorgeous looking film. I mean, Greg Fraser's cinematography is, only matched by Roger Deakins as far as I'm concerned, as far as cinematography. I couldn't get on board with the characters.
What movie has he done?
Roger Deakins?
Yeah.
Well, obviously the one that comes to mind first and foremost is Blade Runner 2049. That's my all-time favorite film. He also was director of photography for 007 Skyfall. Let me see, True Grit.
Oh,
No
that was.
No Country
No
for
Country
Old
for
Men.
Oh, that was a good one too.
I didn't watch that one.
I mean, there was The Man Who Wasn't There, which I think is a pretty underrated film.
That's Billy Bob Thornton. That's one of the Coen brothers movies, right?
I think so. I don't remember which
Coen.
Coen brother it was, but yes, it was Billy Bob Thornton and I think James Gandolfini.
Yeah. Yes, I do recall that one. I think I did see that one. Nerds. Yeah. Yeah, so
Nerd is my middle name.
filmmakers owing us fans a debt.
I wouldn't go that far. I feel like filmmakers feeling like they owe the fans something is why we got The Flash.
Yes. Now all we need is.
I went there.
Did you go see the movie?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen it yet. I said that more just for the joke factor, but
oh no, I got it. I got it. I understood that. Yeah, I just was curious if you've seen it yet or not, because I haven't.
I have.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to see it soon. Despite my feelings going into it, I'm going to see it just to say that I did.
Is it still in theaters?
It is.
I was going to go see it in theaters, but I slept in that day.
Hey.
I'll see it when it's free. That's, you know what? When it hits HBO Max, or well, not HBO Max anymore. When it hits Max, that's when I'll go see it. And honestly, even then, because Shazam: Fury of the Gods has been on Max for a little while, and I still haven't even touched it yet. So
I watched that one. I didn't think it was as good as the first one.
It
was alright,
the first one.
All of the Wonder Woman 1984 really had left a bad taste in my mouth. So I'm just.
Yeah, well, I think what kind of turned me off to the DC EU is knowing that the story that was being set up in Zack Snyder's Justice League is not going to be finished.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, the DC films have their issues. I mean, sure. But I mean, as far as the overall look and tone that I now associate with DC, I look back on films like, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. I feel like those are just good movies for what DC is, in my opinion, supposed to be. And knowing that we're not going to get what Zack Snyder was wanting with, giving us Darkseid and Martian Manhunter and all that stuff. I feel like it's kind of doing the franchise a huge disservice.
Yeah. They like I said, they lost me a long time ago. So
yeah.
Anyway,
the MCU lost me a long time ago, unfortunately.
After Phase 3,
and just to row, yeah, I thought Supergirl was good. Sasha.
Oh,
I really like Sasha.
Your Supergirl steals the show. I would really.
And that's why I went to see the movie, to see Keaton. And I thought he did pretty good. I like Crows.
Stick with single films and make them better. Yeah. Quality versus quantity. That's why I think that's why the MCU. I mean, in Phase 4 with the MCU, it was like there was a bunch of stuff and it was just dumped on you. And now they're kind of backing off on it because they're like, we probably should have written these a little bit.
Yeah, well, moving forward with DC, I feel like they should really, like Scuttlebutt podcast said, stick with, smaller stories at the at least starting out. I mean, I thought Joker was great. I thought the Batman was fantastic. And I think that those movies should, if they haven't already, set a precedent for, the kind of storytelling that DC should move forward with.
Well, I think they were trying to do the Marvel formula, and unfortunately, they didn't go about it the right way.
No, that they rushed it. That they had one origin movie and then jumped right into Batman v Superman, where it was like, okay, we have to set up the Justice League now. And
we got to get them out there now.
It was very convoluted.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Now that we've done hashing out DC and DCEU on the Star Wars show.
It's what we do. We go off the rails. We go down the rabbit hole.
Unfortunately, this episode of Mandalorian didn't have much to talk about.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it was a short episode. So
I mean, Mandalorian finds Jawas, hijinks ensue, Mudhorn dead. Boom.
It was a good episode. I liked it.
Great episode. Especially when the yes, thank you. Yet again. Especially when the Mando disintegrated the Jawas. That was just awesome.
Highlight of the episode.
Highlight. That's the highlight. That's what we're taking away from all of this. We can disintegrate Jawas. So, all that being said, Debbie, shameless plugs? Any shameless plugs this week?
Excuse you, Chewy. Not that I know of. I haven't heard anything about Federation Friday, so I don't know if that's going on. But Monday we will be back with MCU Monday and talking episode 2 of Secret Invasion.
And it was
good.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
And I'm just like, holy crap, we just don't know who's who or what's going on. And then at the end, I was like, what the hell?
If you haven't seen Secret Invasion, go watch it and then join us here, same time, but on Mondays, and watch MCU Mondays. It's all good.
And then we have Geek Gauntlet on Saturday. At 10 Eastern. So, and they talk about everything: Marvel, DC, Star Wars, anime, gaming.
Yeah, it's the
talk about everything.
Yeah, it's like the news part of things. Hey, we've got this coming up, and this is happening in this world, and yes, they're very awesome, very awesome. Cam, do you have anything? Shameless plugs.
Yes, I have my in-depth review of the movie 65 coming out this weekend.
Ooh,
I haven't watched it yet.
I gotta find it. I gotta watch it.
Isn't it on Amazon or something?
I hope so.
It probably is on Amazon Prime.
I might just have to get it on Vudu.
In the review, I'm talking about why the film is better than a lot of people gave it credit for. Especially on second rewatch, I liked it. I liked it all right the first time around, but the second time I really got a deeper appreciation for it. So yeah, I'll be talking about all that. That'll be this weekend. So on the new YouTube channel, hopefully we're not still checking out the old one.
Rent or buy, rent or buy, rent or buy.
Is that on Amazon? You have to rent or buy it?
Amazon Prime, yeah.
Crapola.
I got it on
go to-
Blu-ray.
Go to Redbox and rent it.
There you go.
That
Well,
might be
this weekend I will be watching.
Indiana Jones.
Well, Indiana Jones. I'm going tomorrow, but I will also be watching The Witcher because that comes out tomorrow. Third season.
Wait, it does?
Yes.
The Witcher?
This
Third
is the
season. Yes.
final season, right?
Final season for Henry, which
Yeah.
really pisses me off. But that's another story.
Holy crap!
I need to go get. I need to get caught up on that.
I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. Let me
Oh,
look. Let me look.
Well, while Debbie's checking that out,
Because that's what I've been planning for.
go to our Facebook page. Go to the Geek News Now Facebook page. Look us up on Facebook. We're there. They're having another giveaway. We're giving away more free stuff. This is an anime giveaway, or an anime themed giveaway, I should say. It's a what did they call it? It's a tablet bag. So it's padded on the inside and it's got Sailor Moon on it. And I don't recall. Do either one of you recall what the other item is?
I think it's a Batman cutting board.
No, that was last.
No,
time.
that was the.
Oh no! It's a Gundam model, I think.
Oh, well, hey, Gundam model. I didn't even realize that. I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to win it, but you out there watching are. So if you go to Facebook and you sign up to win this thing, it's all yours. You're luckier than me. So,
The Witcher debuted today.
ooh, season 3 of The Witcher.
So
Unbelievable. Well, I've been
be
so out of the
watching
loop.
that
I had
after the
no
show.
idea.
I think they're splitting it up, though. It's like, I don't know, so many
Oh, of course they are.
episodes, and then in 2 or 3 weeks, the rest of the I think that's how they're doing it. Kind of like what they did with Stranger Things, season 4. They kind of broke it up.
Scarif Scuttlebutt headed to the theater to see Indy in 30 minutes. So anyway, yes.
Yeah, and they're doing a show, and I apologize, I forget when you're doing a review show on Indy, Scarif.
Debbie wants in. Oh.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just kind of plugging him because we've kind of been working.
Oh yeah. Hey, Scarif Scuttlebutt, go listen to their podcast.
They're part of the Red 5 network.
I think so, yes. Go check them out. Oh, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central they are recording. Or they will.
I'm
that
not
would
good
be-
with my times. What
That
is
would
that?
be that's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock your time, Debbie.
Ah, okay. All right.
Hashtag Scarif Live. There it is.
Okay.
There's the hashtag.
So yeah,
So-
they've got a good show over there. So
Go check out their show. Friends of our show with that we don't get in trouble for playing their music. So Galactic Empire, we love you guys to death, but we got zapped. It's okay. That's okay. That's fine. It's not a big deal. We still love you. So go check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube,
Twitter,
Twitter,
TikTok.
all the social media platforms. We are all over the place. Check out the giveaway, and I think that's it. I think we're done. All right. Well, that being said, y'all all have a great week, and may the force
Happy
be with
4th of
you.
July.
Happy 4th of July.
Although
That
we
too.
will see you Monday, so
Yeah. So,
but yeah, a lot of people celebrate over the weekend.
yeah, and especially since Monday's the 3rd, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm taking a PO day, so long weekend for me.
y'all have a great week. We'll see you next week here on the Cantina Happy Hour. May the force be with you all.